Man.
Let me tell you, man, real quick. You might hear it in my speech. I got my Invisalign sets on because honestly, between us, man, I don't think I'm wearing them enough because I was on a roll, right? I was on a roll for weeks, jumping from one set to the next. And I might have kind of, took my foot off the gas a little bit and maybe was wearing them a little less than I probably should have. And it's like 1 week, same set, 2 weeks, same set, 3 weeks, same set. I'm starting to get, they're like, well, Jeff, you got to wear them.
Right.
I am wearing them. Well, how often? Not as often as I should be. So I got them in tonight.
Well, I can never hear them.
Okay, thank goodness, because I can.
I think it's like you would favor them, Or you might say something at some point and I'd realize, they're in. Okay, I got it.
Let's try it. Sally sold seashells by the seashore.
We got to stop it right there.
Not bad?
I mean, that was pretty good, though. I'm impressed. Yeah. The kids used to look up to you. What happened? As 50 Cent would say, man. Yeah, you got to get back on it. So I'm glad you got him in. I had a friend who she just got a quote for Invisaligns for like 18 months. I think it was going to be like $5,700 or something.
Woo!
But
yeah, man,
my thought was if I had braces or was able to have braces in the time of Invisalign, man, my life would have been so much cooler because I had them for 4 years, as we've talked about. It was a long 4 years.
Man. Yeah. If you're watching this on YouTube, Dave, break down what's going on behind you, man, because you're Mr. MapQuest right now. What is all this stuff?
Don't worry about my maps, all right? You know what they are, but you don't know why they're here. Okay?
No, I don't.
You know what they are, but you don't know why they're here, okay? So just don't worry about it. All will be revealed in about 2 months when I can tell you about it. But it's part of my video set, so we'll just leave it at that. It's for some other videos I'm working on.
Okay, well, cool, man. Yeah. Well, dude, I love keeping up with your Instagram. And I saw you out there out and about, bro, doing some man's work. I saw you with a wheelbarrow. Yep. I saw you with an axe.
Yep.
Not an axe to grind. You had an axe to cut up some wood.
I'm glad I didn't have to grind it because that takes a long time too.
Where were you and what was going on lately?
So I was down east at an undisclosed location at my mom's house. She lives in the woods. Like she's literally in the woods. I just put up a reel. That's the one you're referring to. And
yeah.
So that was a long day for me because I knew it was going to end up at her place. I get up early and she's like, hey, man, they live hours away from Portland and they love Standard Baking. Standard Baking Company, that's the place. The freshest bread, croissants, everything. It's on Commercial Street. It's in that parking lot kind of next to Ports of Call. So you can order online, which is smart, or you can get out there before they open at 8 a.m. And there's like a line, dude. This is like an amusement park.
Real quick,
deep.
my dumbass, and not to cut you off, I thought standard baking was like a form of baking.
Oh, it's just this is a standard form of baking.
I was like, well, what kind of other baking is there?
Well, I mean, from there you can go all kinds of directions. I'm sure you can come up with some new techniques that they haven't figured out yet. But Standard Baking Company, it's the best. If you're in Portland, Maine, you got to stop in there. It's packed like every day. This was Saturday morning, so extra packed. So I waited in line for 40 minutes to get fresh croissants and scones, and worth it. They're incredible. We just reheated them when I got to my mom's. So that was my first stop. Next stop was about 2 hours away, and that was to do this card and memorabilia, signed baseballs. I was going to go buy this collection. There was books, softcover books, hardcover books, programs, magazines. I think I have like 5,000 items. And
holy cow, dude, what?
I only took home, so we did the deal, and I only took home a quarter of it, like 25% of the collection. I got to go up and bring the van, fill it up with all the stuff. So me and Dad paid $6,500. I just wanted to go see it again, but I was like, the night before, I'm never going to write a check. Why would I need a check? And then, of course, I write the first check from the double play company. I'm like, well, I guess I'm going to write one now because I don't have that much cash on me. And I'm, just stroking a $6,500 check on a Saturday. No big deal.
Man. So you only grabbed 25% of it, excuse me, because you couldn't fit the rest into the car.
No. And I've filled my car with 25%. So the van's going to be jam-packed. It's good. There's a lot of good stuff. There's a lot of random magazines like Sport Magazine, and there's a couple like Tough Stuffs and Who's Who in Baseball. It's a lot of random stuff, but one of the coolest items we got was a 500 home run club ball with 11 Hall of Fame signatures on there, like Willie Mays, Mickey Mantle, Ted Williams, Willie McCovey, Eddie Matthews, Mike Schmidt, Ernie Banks, just legends. And the ball we got in the collection, all right, the ball goes for $2,500 on eBay. Right now, it sold last month. So it's like, do you hold it or do you sell it and make a bunch of money back right away?
Right. So two things. How do you come across a lot like this? And secondly, so this ball was maybe not mass produced, but with these specific players specifically signed, like there were a few of these floating around.
Yeah. I would say there might even be 500 to 1,000 of them that were circulated at some point, but you don't see them pop up that often. It's got the paperwork that authenticates it. And
which is much needed. Yeah. When you're trying to sell, like you need, like there's no way you're going to buy it without it.
You could get somebody to like, Pawn Stars be like, yep, this is a real signature and you can tell like it's okay. That's the signature. You look at the pen, but the authentication helps. So I came across a lot because we have a friend who does postcards with my dad, Mike, and he started telling people that we're looking for sports stuff. And so this one guy, this is how it always works. One guy's like, oh, hey, you looking for sports stuff? Well, I just bought this huge collection. I'll wholesale it to you. Just buy me out. I think probably paid like $2,500 or $3,000 for it. And then Mike was like, well, I'm not going to piecemeal it on eBay. That's what we do. So he's turned around and he made his profit, $6,500 from me. And then I'm going to turn around and one by one sell every item and get my money back in profit. So there's so many stops along the way. That you keep meat on the bone for other people. And like, you're starting to learn that with reselling. You're like, okay, well, if I pay $20, I'd like to make 40, or I would like to sell this for 40 to, double my money at a minimum. And if you were going to sell it to a reseller, maybe you would say, well, as long as I make 10 to 15 bucks, I'm okay. But the margins are important. So if you have like stuff like this, the big margins allow you to kind of have more people in the funnel. But my goal with this stuff is to sell it to collectors. If somebody wants to resell it and they can, that's great. But I'm looking to get like the retail top dollar. So if I could sell that ball for $2,500 to $3,000, I could probably make more if I sell it in the store because people can see it, come up to it. eBay, people are going to just look at the comps and say, well, this is what it sold for, so I'm willing to go here or maybe higher if they're trying to finish a collection. But yeah, that collection's pretty sweet. And I've gone through every box that I brought home. So this is like maybe 4 or 5 days since I've had it. But now I'm like, I got to get back up there and get more of the boxes. Ton of books. It's going to be good inventory for the store. I'm just like, that was that, did that, and then kept driving a couple more hours or so, get up to my mom's in the woods. You pull in, there's like a driveway, and then it turns into grass. And there's no more, like you can see cars have been on the grass, but it's not a road. It's just grass.
So I want to hear about this trip up to see your mom. But firstly, before we move on, I got to know, you're just like trusting this person to hang on to the other 75% of the stuff that you purchased?
Yeah. So we've known Mike for over a decade.
So he's like a trustworthy kind of guy.
So think about it this way. Like him and my dad have like a trade and credit system. So I brought up postcards, which is part of our deal, valued up to like $3,000. And so we kind of have like a running tab with each other. And those guys do so many deals together. But this was the first time I did a deal with Mike. And so, yeah, I mean, he's like a close friend, especially in the industry. So definitely not a random person at all.
Right. And you know what else? One of the things you said that I thought was kind of interesting, and that's just because I'm really getting into this, like reselling and flipping stuff.
Bro.
Was you talked about, having meat left on the bone and then how many people are in the funnel. So basically, once you have your item and you sell it, like perfect world, this is going to its like forever home, right?
Yep.
Like there's so many stops along the way. Is there a benefit in you being the final stop before it's at its like forever place?
There definitely is a benefit, but it's much more difficult for you to find items at such a low price to make a big margin. But because it's difficult, then when you do, your margins are like 100, 200, 300%. For example, every one of the magazines, the cool thing is Mike went through and like counted everything, and he, kind of put, here's what I would charge you wholesale. So like a program magazine, $8 each. Some of those are going to go for $100.
Golly,
so bought one
dude,
for $8.
what?
So that means you don't have to sell every single one of them at a big margin. You just need to sell like a dozen or so at that big margin. The rest of them, you just need to profit or wash, and you're good, right? Because you want to make money on the whole deal. Like my goal is to like make the money back. I want to make triple. So let's see, 6. So I'd like to make like 18, 9. I'd like to have 18, 19,000 come back, make back my 6,500 and make another 12,000.
Gonna have to change that name to Triple Play Collectibles, bro. Let's go.
Franchise coming soon.
But one of the things I wanted to mention was recently we had this, I say we, like I work there, after the weekend I pretty much do work it out the box, but we had this person come in and sell off a bunch of their vintage TMNT stuff.
Dude.
And we're talking like some of the hard to find characters with all their accessories, and you know how tough those things are to come across because mom's vacuum eats them up. You know what I mean? So I had this situation where there were certain ones that I wanted, predominantly Raph, because that's my guy, right? And he cut me like a bargain basement deal. And I was like, dude, I don't want to walk out of here and feel like I'm ripping somebody off. He goes, no, man, just with these like several you bought, I already made back my money. The rest is all gravy.
Exactly.
And as you were explaining that to me, I'm like, now that makes sense, Yeah,
because people are motivated differently. The person he bought them from was probably like, I just need to get rid of this. Just give me... who knows what it was. We'll just call it, hey, give me $100 and they're yours, right? This is what happens at flea markets. Why I get like the vintage shirts, I get like a dozen of them for like $20 to $30, knowing I can sell each one for that much. So I sell one shirt. I sell one shirt, and I'm like, everything else is profit. And that's probably what this person, they understand as a reseller that they just need to sell a few. Because again, then for you can hold it a while. You could turn around and try to flip it, clean them up like you were telling me you were doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't have to make a killing on every item. I was talking to my dad about this today because so many of these vintage stores are like, oh, that shirt's like $250. I'm like, is it really? That's just perceived value. Like, there's some items that I'm like, will never find this again. That baseball, I'll probably never come across it again. I could buy one on eBay if I really worked for it. But I got that baseball. There was like 4 other baseballs in there for like $1,200 for all of them. So if I sell the one for double the entire baseball collection, I'm good.
You're good, dude.
I'm not trying to be greedy. And so many of these stores I think don't last or even dealers at like card shows, antique shows, whatever, they won't make a deal with you because they're like, well, I know what I have. I'm like, okay, I do too, but do you want this money in my hand or do you want zero?
Yeah. I think there's something to be said about let's not hold on to every piece that we have like it's Grail. I mean,
I hate that word, bro. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah,
every post I see, oh, this is Grail. I'm like,
Grail,
okay,
dude.
If you start using the word too much, it loses its meaning.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like with GOAT. You know what I mean? It's like
that's
there's only one.
He's the GOAT. It's got
John
a lot of
Cena,
goats in the
that's
pen
it.
now.
Yeah, come on, man. But yeah, I love the approach where it's like, no, as quickly as this stuff comes in, I need to get it out. Like, for example, right? I go into Out the Box and I'm there to film some stuff for them that day. And this older woman, she brings in like quite a few different collections. And one of them was like a Fat Albert set from like 2005. If you remember the movie with, I think Kenan Thompson did the voice.
I do vaguely remember the movie.
So it had like Mushmouth and Albert and all the different characters, and they all look kind of cool. And then there was like Pink Panther, and then there was Peter Cottontail, and then there was some Simpson stuff and some Popeye stuff. And, they made the deal that they did. But the cool part about it was I was there to film it and document it and, to create some content for them. And just as soon as it came in and it all got priced and put into the system, I was filming them putting it out on display. And the crazy thing about it is the moment the reel dropped, right, which may have been the next day, somebody DMs the shop and asks about those specific toys. So as soon as they come in, dude, not even 24 hours later, they're going out. And that's kind of the recipe you want to have a successful shop like Double Play. Am I right in that?
Yeah, well, and that's like me following Out the Box's formula. The point of Out the Box is, I think, from an outside perspective, to be a cool place to hang out and to know you're going to get fresh inventory. No one wants to go to a shop that doesn't change out what they have on the shelves.
Right. So, like each week it should be kind of different, right?
I mean, I would say at a minimum. It sounds like for those guys, it's every day something random is coming in.
Yeah.
So if you're a customer, you live close, how frequently are you going to come in? If you know that shop gets new stuff every day, you might be dedicated and go like every day, every other day. Right. But if not, it's like, maybe once a month I'll pop in. So it sounds like those guys are capitalizing, and that's what I want. A cool place to hang out, and for you to know that I'm always getting new stuff in, whether I'm going to get it or people are bringing it to me.
Going to get it, you recently, not only did you, make this super long drive, go out and get 25% of this collection, but you're also meeting people locally within Portland. And you just came across some, were they like dope pro line or starter jackets from the 90s?
Dope. Our boy Darnell.
Tell me about these, dog.
Our boy Darnell DMs me. He's like, dude, I got stuff. I was like, all right, well, take a picture. Tell me what you got. Takes a picture of all these Miami Dolphins. When I opened the tote, they smelled like they were fresh out of the dryer. These things were pristine. Like, they smelled good. You never get clothing that smells good that's vintage.
No.
It always smells weird or like kind of smoky or whatever. It's vintage. I get it.
Right.
So these are in like perfect shape. They were his great uncles, who was a huge Dolphins fan. So we did our cash deal. And I saw somebody's vintage site was selling one of the jackets I have for $250. I was like, dang. I'm like, that's a lot. But the Dolphins are hot, so if you can ride the wave, somebody's going to buy it.
Dog, you're not kidding. They just put up a 70 burger on the Broncos.
Dude. And let me tell you.
Double mayo, double cheese, double onion.
Yeah, they had all the fixins on that win, like to the point that it was cool to see because I know he was the ball boy, Mike McDaniel, for the Broncos, and
with the earrings.
I heard they didn't really give him a shot to be the head coach at whatever point, and for whatever reason, I'm happy for him because I remember when the Patriots put up like 63 on the Titans, Belichick was like, "No, we're not kicking. We're just trying to score touchdowns." So the Dolphins putting up that 70 burger is going to help my chances to sell these jackets, and there's 8 of them. One of them is like a raincoat, and I've never seen an NFL starter jacket raincoat. There's pro player, there's pro line, there's starter. And if you're in Maine or New England and you happen to be a Dolphins fan, you can come down and buy one because winter's coming. And these are from the 90s, sealed in a tote, man. They're not the retros. They're not reprints, nothing like that. They don't make them like they used to.
Not even close, man. And just the fact that they've been, it goes to, tell a lot about Darnell and his great uncle, I think you said it was.
Yeah.
To keep something like that in such great condition and, stuff that old, it tends to just kind of, fall apart. You don't really think about it. But, man, like, I'm not going to call it Grail.
Don't.
But if you're a Dolphins fan,
but
it might be kind of dope at least.
They're clean. Literally clean, and like they have a clean look. These are the freshest. This is the freshest collection of jackets or clothes I've got in. So I think I'm gonna find one to put on eBay and test it out. But looking at the comps and seeing the quality I have, these are easily the best thing out there. So I want to have quality in the shop. I want to have like a curated stuff. I don't just want just old stuff. I want stuff that I've like picked out. You can't pick out everything, and there's a few companies I've started working with that will bulk. You can bulk order from them because they're doing the picking, and they'll give you a good price, like $7 to $15 per item, and that helps me because they get it. They work with resellers. That's who they sell to, so they're clearly making enough money if their company's still around. Anyway, that's not my problem. If I can get my item at the price, then I'll buy it all day.
Right. I was recently talking with Wade. He reached out to me because he heard us talking about on the show, and this is something that I actually put into practice here recently over the last few days, was going out to these secondhand stores, the TJs and the Marshalls and the et cetera. And his son, Wade Jr., happens to be into WWE as well. So he's like, man, like if I can, score some of these $25 figures for $7, $8, of course I'm going to do that. My kid's going to be pumped. And he also had seen your post with Darnell, and he's like, dude, if he's into this, like wait till he sees all the comic books I have. And it's kind of strange that like, just the curiosity of our friends of the different things that we talk about. It's almost like they kind of want to dabble in that as well, just because it's, something their friends are having success with. And I think that's super cool. But anyhow, the moral of the thing is Wade found this super dope piece, man, that I've been out trying to find. And it's a 3-pack with Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman, excuse me, sir, and Brock Lesnar, Cowboy Brock.
Okay.
And this thing's retailing for like $60.
All right.
Finds it at Marshall's for $19.99.
Dang.
He goes, bro, do you want me to pick this up and send it to you? And I said, yeah, dude, because I can, flip that and I can make probably 2 or 3 times, not trying to rip anybody off, but I can make 2 or 3 times that because that's what it's worth, And he goes, all right, well, my gift. Sending it out to me.
Wow.
And like specifically knows I'm putting this in the shop. Like, how could I not? You
That's
know what
so
I mean?
Cool, right?
It just goes back to what we were talking about earlier, where you're trying to get the triple play, Yep. And it's not always about it being a super high priced item to get that triple play, right?
Right.
It's because it's like, let's just call it, 300% of, $100 versus 300% of 10. Like the math is all the same. So if you're doing it enough over and over again, even with some like low, small price stuff, it's just the arithmetic of it. It's always triple. Yeah, like
that's your goal.
You know what I mean?
You make money when you buy. That's why know. You're like, I have to get it at this price or I can't buy it. Yeah. It's not worth my time. Like, I gotta make, and for me, I don't want to have thin margins because I'm gonna have some stuff like having a Mitchell & Ness account or a 47 brand or some of the newer things, I can't make as much money because, like, in cards, like, everybody makes however much money they're going to make on a box of cards, a pack of cards, like, whatever.
Yeah.
So
and isn't the
it's fine.
appeal of like a box of cards of, well, oh, snap, I don't know what's going to be in here, so I'm
That's
willing to spend so much money because there might be something in here that's worth even more than that.
And I am going to luck out a bunch, I think, by getting bulk, boxes of cards. And then that year, this one card was in there and nobody's found it yet. It's the Willy Wonka effect. And then I can charge more for the boxes than retail because everybody wants them. It was like the Tickle Me Elmo thing or the Beanie Babies or Pokemon. And I'm going to have Pokemon cards too. But once people realize there's a valuable card, the secondary market's going to then dictate, okay, well, you're a reseller shop.
Yeah.
Panini sold you all these boxes, but I noticed I have 3 WWE Panini boxes sealed over here off camera because that whole deal just fell apart with them. And I'm like,
yeah, I was just gonna say, what is going on? I don't like it's hard enough just to keep up with the toys. You know? Like keeping up with the card stuff is just a whole nother can of worms.
So WWE was like, hey, you got to stop printing our cards. And Panini's like, well, you have 2 more years on the deal. And we haven't done anything to jeopardize the deal. So it's like they're going to sue and countersue. But I'm sitting here thinking, whatever's printed, I'm just going to buy it. Because if they're done and that's the last print run of cards, that's good for me.
Big time.
Because it'll never happen again. And I still can't figure out where that Andre the Giant die-cut card is.
It's killing
doesn't exist
me,
on
dude.
eBay. Still not on there. So
yeah, it's like it doesn't exist.
So I'm just gonna hold it, and we'll see, man. It's all
bro. What
perceived.
if it's the 1 of 1, bro?
It's the 1 of 1 that never was gonna be a 1 of 1.
Right.
Because mostly they'll put it in there with they'll do the little insert pressed on gold or silver. It'll say 5 out of 99. But no, man, and speaking of cards, I went to the Northeast Card Show at the Expo.
What was that like?
So many tables, dude. It was great. I got some good stuff there too.
Yeah.
I've been heavy on buying Jalen Williams from Santa Clara, Oklahoma City cards. So all his rookie cards, bought a bunch of those for $1. I bought one that was signed. It was a metal card. It was cool. It's blue ink on it, blue Sharpie. Got it from this kid for $60.
Wow.
It's going for $220. So,
jeez.
If you can sit on this card long enough and sell it, a lot of people have this instant need to flip the next day or the next week, and it skews all the conversations I was hearing. Was well, it's worth this, and the other guy's like, no, it's not. It's worth more, and I'm like, well, in a year, I might be worth 0.
Right.
You just don't. This is the most ridiculous conversations.
It's all a gamble, no?
Totally. I mean, yeah, it totally is because you don't know. Is the athlete going to pull a Ricky Williams and be like, I'm done? Or
see ya.
You don't know. Is that going to make the car go up or down? Or something bad off the field could happen, and then that player's integrity is gone, and the card's then not worth anything. And there's a lot of factors in it. So I'd rather be the person in the middle, I have the supply. You can come get the cards. But I like collecting Jalen because he went to Santa Clara. So I'm trying to get his stuff. Yeah. Steve Nash, Brandon Podjemski, who just got drafted by the Warriors. His card's not out yet, but it'll be coming out soon. So
tell me real quick, who's a rookie card that a lot of different collectors or maybe even resellers tried to bank on recently in recent memory that didn't pan out, and there's just a crap ton of this particular card sitting out there just valueless.
Well, some people made money in the really short term on Zion Williamson, but now his card's just going way down,
man,
because he's just not turning out to be the player people thought he was going to be. It doesn't mean he's not a bad player, but
no,
it's tough, dude. When the MVP scores 30 plus a game and you're only scoring 20, there's so many all-star cards I have that just aren't worth a lot. All the Scottie Pippen cards, a couple of the early ones are worth money, but I just think they're cool, but I don't know how many other people think they're cool.
Right.
So it's tough, dude. So our mix, what I learned from the card show is like, okay, people are heavy into cards again, but that's not going to last. That bubble's going to burst at some point. I don't know when. It might last a while longer.
You think it kind of just comes and goes because, like, you know, I haven't heard anybody talk about cards in a long time. You know, like last I knew, people were like, yeah, you know, I got example. I remember being back home in Maine this past summer, and our buddy Keith had a ton of baseball cards from Don's baseball card shop. Like you would buy the long boxes of the whole sets, right?
Right.
And he's like, yeah, there's like this player and that player and that and this player, and for years they hadn't been worth anything. And then now all of a sudden there's like people are kind of like, hey, you know, this guy, I need it, and that card, I need those. And it's like the market is kind of driving itself up. But you think after some time it's gonna come right back down?
It's because, and I guess I'll say this publicly on here, but
oh gosh, here we go.
I don't think Fanatics, and this is from an outside perspective, so I could be wrong on it because I don't understand their strategy, but I don't think they're good for the hobby because they're printing too much stuff. And like we said about Grail, when everything is special, nothing is special.
Right.
You know,
Fanatics, they're like, I could be completely wrong, but I'm pretty sure they do all of WWE's merchandise as well.
Yeah, so now they're taking over the card contract. That was kind of part of the whole deal with Panini. So, and I don't think Fanatics has a great product. Their shirts aren't, I don't like them very much because it's cheaper to make because you do that print on label, but it wears off, right? It's like that rubbery plastic that just doesn't stick, right? So you think in 30 years, how's this shirt going to hold up? It's probably not. No. So they're making their money. Don't get me wrong. As a capitalist like business, that's a great strategy, but they keep saying we're good for the hobby. They're not. They're just, I just don't think they are, because if you overprint stuff, it's not special. Like, you have to do not more of the same special thing, but you know, if you're doing one of ones, like I can't tell you how many times I've looked on eBay and seen, and this isn't a Fanatics thing. This is more of like the problem with one of ones. I've seen like 5 one of ones. I'm like, okay, well, who's got the one of one? Because there's 5
Yeah, who's
listings.
the real one?
You guys didn't all sell it to each other. Like, one of these is it.
I've always thought that was kind of a scam anyway. Like, I'll go out to these retail stores, right? And it's like a 1 of 5,000 figure, a chase. Like, you need it. And I'm like, is it really? Or like 1 of 5,000? Or are you just putting a 1 of 5,000 sticker on there? Or like a 1 of 500? Or
those
a 1 of 50?
Are real. And there are one of ones too, but there's only one, man. And it gets
there's
authenticated.
Only one.
That's it.
Yeah.
So it's not, this is again, not the company's fault. This is the reseller's fault for, you know, printing out like, typing in the wrong information into their eBay. I'm like, okay, it's a special card. It you know, it's a short print, super short print, whatever. It's not a 1 of 1. One of y'all has it, and 4 of y'all don't have it. But you know, the Fanatics thing is just, I don't see them. They're a company. They're supposed to serve the shareholders. I think they're private. I don't know. I think maybe
so. Tell me,
public.
Is their business model? And I had to take these things out, dude. It was making me friggin' crazy.
Yeah, man.
Is their model like, okay, let's get WWE, let's get this sports league, let's get this brand, let's get, you know, the license to this movie, and then we can do any type of merchandise you could possibly think of? Is that kind of the Fanatics business model?
Yeah, they're trying to get like all the IP they can get and print clothing and print, you know, trading cards and collectibles and sportswear and merch and everything. So,
okay.
You know, they're going to make their money and stuff, but people who are in the hobby and reselling, like, yeah, it's not, there's nothing special about, like, I avoid buying those shirts at Savers when people have traded them in, because I'm like, Fanatics label, it's not that special.
See ya.
You printed too many of them. Like, I don't want it. It's like 88, 89, Topps baseball. There's so much of that wax everywhere. Like I have it.
It's so
Everybody's
weird that you
got
say
it.
that. Yeah, because I was just going to ask you, is that why anytime I go to any type of these, like, you know, second-hand stores or like resale stores, it's always like, you know, TMNT from 91 and, you know, Topps baseball from 89 and like all these different ones. And then they're like, yeah, we have so much wax. And I never even understood why it was called that. I guess that's just because what they were printed on per se.
No,
but
it's because of the packs. They had this
okay.
wax paper. And so they could fold it and kind of like heat seal it without using glue. And when you feel the wax paper versus the new like plastic, you're like, oh, and they just printed way too many of these cards.
And that goes back to the point that you just had, where it's like, if you're printing so much of it, there's no value to it. That's why a lot of these wax packs that I would open up on film to make fun content out of it, because even if the cards might be valueless per se, they're still fun to kind of go through and look at.
It's a total flashback. Like, it's so fun to be like, man, if I was a kid in 1989 having this, like, oh, it's a fun, like when I opened the 90s, like Fleer NBA, like it's a cool card. It's vintage.
Yeah.
There's a couple that are worth money if you grade them, but overall, like it's not 86. The 86 Fleer is like, is actually grailed. 86 Fleer, dude. There's a whole
legit grail.
Golden Co. Ken Golden, he's got that show on Netflix about consignment, but they have one of those briefcases. I think they have every single card from 86 Fleer graded.
Wow.
And I'm
that's
like,
crazy.
This is amazing, dude. That's the Jordan rookie card that's worth so much.
Yeah, and dude, people roll the dice. I see videos all the time of, hey, recently, for example, somebody had a graded pack of that same
dude,
86
talk
set.
About to roll the dice.
Cracked it open to hopefully pulled the Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
And of course they didn't. Mm-hmm. So they just burned, like basically just threw money out the window. You know?
The cards can maybe make your money back, the ones that you pull, the commons, because it's one of those packs that the commons are worth money. But yeah, you're going for like the 6-figure. I think one has gone for 7 figures, that Jordan.
Right, because some of these cards could change your life. Like,
dude,
that's why, some folks do this with Pokemon as well.
Yeah.
They're like, well, this is a first edition Shadowless pack. If I can pull one of the big 3, I'm going to be set, dude. Like, this will change my life overnight. And, like, some people take that gamble, you know? Imagine it paying off.
So I think that would be cool. I'd like to have the money to start doing that at some point. That'd be fun. But I want to be, like, again, Willy Wonka. I want to be the shop that kids rush into to buy their chocolate bars. Like, come to my store, I have what you want to buy, and hopefully these companies and the sports that the players are from keep hyping up different stuff so I can buy it, people can come in. The vintage clothing is cool. Always having old, inventory from like the olden days, like not old as it's sitting there, but having that stuff in the shop. That's what I want to talk to people about. Oh man, I can't believe you have this jacket. I've been looking for it. Like, that's the kind of interactions I want to have each day. And I don't need to make $1 million off of like one score. Like, I want the business to be a good model and maybe expand it at some point and have another location. I don't know, in a different state.
You know what's something that I think would be fun for us to do is to like go in on a few, I guess the most valuable sports like packs you can buy are hobby boxes. Is that right?
Hobby boxes. Yep.
Okay. So is there a different hobby box for like each individual brand or IP?
Yeah. There's different boxes for each. So that would be a cool episode. I was actually thinking, we get a couple and then we open them on the show.
Right, that's what I'm thinking too. WWE.
Yeah.
And maybe, I don't know, whatever else you want. You know, like we can get 2.
Yeah, we'll open them on the show and you and me will both react to like pulling the cards. I got some of those medical gloves, so I don't touch them with human hands. I'm just like
important because that oil, right?
It's
oil. Serious business, dude. The card business,
dude. Because if you put one fat fingerprint on that card, like you could lose 100,000 with a fingerprint.
Oh my goodness, dude, that's crazy.
So anytime I'm pulling them out of packs, I'll do that. Obviously, most of the time in the stores you see, it's in plastic. It's in what they call a slab, like the thick plastic, or it's already in a case. So you don't have to worry about it because it's protected. But yeah,
so
dude,
that's like coming right from factory, and they're sealing it there. So it's like there's no chance of this really getting banged up or nothing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like it's up to you to like open the pack carefully, and you can still bend the corner as it comes out of the pack. So you got to be careful with that too. But it's cards. That's just going to be one part of what's going on. And I just realized like all these people just selling cards at these shows, they've gone totally all in on the cards. But I don't want to do that because I just see there's way more of an advantage to having a mix of stuff, pennants, shirts, jackets.
Right.
That was all a part of our nostalgia. You're selling the nostalgia. That's what out the box, right? It's like, man, I need that now that I have expendable income and I'm in my 30s, 40s, whatever. I can buy that.
Yeah, and if it's not cards, it's shoes or it's toys, and we're gonna move on from the card talk, but you kind of sparked a memory that I had forgotten about cards.
Okay.
When I was a kid, my dad was super into that stuff, right? Strangely, boxing cards.
Huh.
Because like boxing was really big in the 90s.
Yeah.
Tyson, of course, right? And there was this like really valuable card that my dad was trying to find in one of these packs. And I remember he pulled it.
What?
I can't remember who it was. Like I have no knowledge about this and I was so young. But I remember Dad pulled that card and it was a super valuable card. But it wouldn't fully come out of the pack. And he's like, what the hell is going on? Like his eyes were like saucers, right? So he starts peeling it back, and the card in the factory had accidentally been sealed in the seam of the packaging.
Whoa.
So there was like rigid marks all along the bottom of the card, which like ruined its value.
Man.
So he went from just like a sky 10 to like a -10, dude, like that quick.
Oh,
I'm
my
like,
God.
man, the disappointment, dude.
Nothing you can do about it.
No, and I'm just wondering, like,
It
I mean,
happens.
obviously mistakes like that can happen, but it's like, now you get me thinking, like, who could that have possibly been? Like, it was sometime in the early 90s. I have no idea what card it could have possibly been, but yeah, it was just, I don't know, man. It looked almost like it had the grooves of like a, like the bottle of Coke or Sprite or even like a beer, and you twist it off. It has all the little, it has all the little, it looked like somebody rolled the bottle cap through the card and he was so disappointed.
Guy was probably like, wait till this sucker opens this pack.
Oh my gosh. Or could you imagine like, with your scissors or your knife and you're trying to be careful, you cut off part. I was like, oh, what? Like you gotta be careful with
you
that
gave
stuff.
Mike Tyson a haircut, bro.
Oh my gosh, dude. But yeah, anyway, Dave's been getting ready, getting everything in order to open up the shop here hopefully soon. And you told me you got some display ideas and different things you want to do for the space. And lately, I've been over here trying to get my own display space under control, and I actually redid it all, and I'm pretty proud of it.
Well, you kept sending me videos. You're like, hey, I'm gonna get this little piece, and I was like, but what if you added this? And you're like, you're right. Okay, let me go add that. So, yeah, tell the people what you're doing, because I think you need to charge admission to come to this like mini wrestling museum in your living room.
Welcome to Homie's Hangout. Admission is $3 a pop. No, I took Sunday over this past weekend, and my Amazon package showed up, and what I had ordered was a bunch of risers, acrylic risers from my action figures, because I got them all separated by era in their individual cubbies, right? But it's like it's like everybody's standing in line, and you can't like everyone in the back and in the middle is kind of hidden. So I thought I got these risers. I saw them on some YouTube videos that I was watching, and they seem to work really well. And I think I got the right ones. And they're 3 different tiers, 3 different heights. And I said, okay, if I'm going to do this, let me make like a Sunday out of it, right? Let me film it, of course, because you want to make the content. And I was pretty happy how the bit came out. You can watch it on my Instagram at YourFaveHomieJR. And I took down all the figures, and this took me quite a while. I got them all down and cleaned out the cubbies and dusted everything off and wiped it all down. And I started laying these risers in. And then, slowly but surely, because I don't have stands for these yet, because Ringside doesn't have stands available. So I'm just going off feet, man. And I'll tell you, the female figures are an absolute nightmare, especially the ones in the heels, because they're nearly impossible to stand up.
So you're I'm imagining you carefully placing each one so it's going to stay. Now, are some people leaning against each other to stand up?
One of them is right now, and it could destroy an entire cubby. And that's all thanks to Chris Jericho. I guess that's what you get for buying a AEW figure.
Shots fired.
Yeah, dude, it was so much fun, and just like setting everything up the way that I wanted it to. And then I was like, dang, you know what would look really good in here, which I probably should have done beforehand, was doing some lights, you know? And a lot of people were like, oh, you should do LED strips, I'm like, yeah, it's just, I already got the guys in there, and I don't know, like it would, because if one goes down, I would end up selling them all. Like it would be that much of a pain in the butt for me, dude. So just to rewind real quick, while I'm setting all these up, I'll get down there and I'll go, and I'll try to do an entire row without breathing. Because if I breathe too hard and one just moves, the rest, you know what I mean? It's
dominoes.
It's danger. And that happened a couple of times. I lost my temper a couple of times. I let out a couple GDs and a couple F words, but
couple of GDs.
But I made my way through it. And then I wound up picking up these little like puck lights that you can, I guess they can be submerged in water or whatever. And they come with a little LED remote. They're not very bright, so I might want to double them up. But for the time being, I think it just creates like a pretty cool vibe. It makes everything look real nice. And
they're tiny, because when you tell me, you're like,
really
hey,
little.
check this out, and you have the remote, you can color change them. Like that was exactly what I was envisioning. I was like, I don't know if this exists, because I was like, oh, LED light strips, and dude, you found it.
I did, man, and because I remember I used to have those for my hookah in the base. I would do the lights and I would drop it in the base just to create the ambiance. I'm all about the vibes,
Vibey, bro, and the vines, bro,
dude, and the vines, man. And I think they work pretty good. So what are those like really little candles called? Are those like what do they call those? Like,
you mean the fake ones that like have the like the light that kind of flickers?
Yeah, they could even be real. Like there's a specific name for the super tiny candles.
All right, well,
whatever that is.
Whoever knows.
I think they're T something. I don't know, but whatever it is, that's basically what these are. They're just like LED little candles. There's like one little bulb in there,
Right.
But for the time being, it's doing the trick. And the other part I did, which took me quite a while, but it was kind of satisfying. And if you ever get into collecting figures, I think you'd find it satisfying too.
I think only one of us can do it.
Yeah, well, all right. We don't need any gimmick infringement over here.
I'll sell them. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not keeping them.
You just wait until the Monday Night War line comes out, and we'll see, okay?
All right.
So where the hell was I? Okay. Any WWE figure you buy, there's so many different accessories it comes with. And the most common accessory is different hands, right?
Oh, jeez.
You get
Come get these hands.
Come get these hands. You get the C hand, you'll get the point. You'll get the fist, the Fury. You'll get the John Cena. Sometimes you'll get just different, different things. So, dude, I have to have like 400 or 500 different hands, right?
Oh, I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah. So what I did was, I was like, I could get a tackle box, like a fishing tackle box,
So
or
smart.
I could. Because at this point, I'm keeping them all in Ziploc bags, bro. I got just dozens of Ziploc bags inside a bigger one, inside a bigger, you know what I mean? It's just too much.
Sketchy to me. I come over, I'm like, what's up with it? But in a tackle box, I'm like, all right, this guy's clean and organized. Baggies, it's like, something's wrong with them.
And something's going on here. Yeah, so I graduated from the baggies, right?
That's good.
And it's almost like these little... That's exactly how I would describe it, as like a fishing tackle box, but I think it's specifically for like arts and crafts, right?
Yeah, like like those stores that do like beads and like, make your own jewelry.
Exactly. Yeah. So and it has like individual dividers, so you can make the sections as big or as small as you want. And I went through the entire freezer-sized Ziploc bag of stuff and all the bags that were in it. And I organized them all into 2 crates. And it's like John Cena's heads, Brock Lesnar's heads, Roman Reigns, Hulk Hogan's heads, Jeff Hardy, Eddie Guerrero.
We probably should have done a little precursor to say, if you're not into like cards and little hands and little heads, just skip to the next episode.
Nerd alert! No, but dude, it was like... Just sitting there separating out all this stuff, you realize I don't need all these hands. Come get these hands, bro.
I only got 2.
And but it was satisfying. I separated all the C hands, and I got them all by skin color, respectively. I got them all by type, gloved hands, taped hands, and then just all the different T-shirts and knee pads and elbow pads and sunglasses, like a specific little thing for sunglasses, and. For some reason, I didn't film it. I wish I had, because that would have made a pretty cool time lapse,
Yeah, time lapse would have been cool, but I can see the OCD. That's gotta be so satisfying to just see it all, like everything's organized and in its place.
You know what I kept doing after too is because you clamp it shut, hold it upside down, and I'm like shaking it, making sure everything's in place, shaking it, making sure and everything stays right where it's supposed to be. And
how about that?
Boom, there we are, man. I redid the whole shelf there for the elites and organized all the accessories. And my next thing for this coming weekend is I'm going to tackle the turtle shelf, because as I was mentioning at the beginning stages of this program, I picked up a bunch of vintage TMNT stuff.
Dude.
I'm going to have to give them another bath, though, because they're still sticky, dude. They're still super sticky.
Man. Yeah, did it end up, do you think it was like some like years of just like oil? Like, because what it sounded like was like, oil, grease, and then dust, like just building and building and building. Like they were just sitting, no ventilation wherever they were.
Right. Yeah, dude, I don't know, but the entire bin was, I did the old hot water and Dawn dish soap, which usually works wonders for anything like that, and it definitely helped. But I'm thinking this time I'm going to have to go in with like an actual brush, like a toothbrush, so to speak, and really just try to get some of this grime off. But outside of them just being sticky, they're all in really good shape.
Nice.
And they're all vintage TMNT stuff, man. And I even met a buddy. We're going to go out on a toy hunt this weekend. His name is James. I met him out the box because I was in the back trying to separate all this stuff. I'm looking up on Google, like, which accessories go with which guy. And he just knew off the top of his head.
Dang.
For every single one of them. And we're just striking up a conversation and separating this stuff. And he, bought some, and then I bought some, and the rest are all in bags ready to go. I filmed the whole thing, so I'm going to put together a piece so you can see it here at some point. But dude, and this can be one of the last thoughts we have today. It was the coolest thing, man, because it was 3 grown-ass men, and we were all sitting on the floor, Indian style, right?
Yeah.
Just separating and organizing and playing with Ninja Turtles.
Who says guys can't play with dolls? Come on,
right?
man.
And I was just like, I cannot tell you when the last time was that I did this, and the last time I did it, I didn't know it was going to be the last time.
I've seen that meme, so many different variations. Last time you went outside to play with your buddies in the neighborhood, you didn't know it was the last time. And I can think of like you, me, and Joe would have like action figure like events and stuff, and I couldn't tell you the last time I did that.
Man, isn't that weird?
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool because it's a fine line when you like. For me, I want predominantly to do reselling, but like everybody likes and I think needs a little nostalgia because you want to have those fond memories. You just don't want to be consumed by them, and so for you to have like this creative outlet that now you can help this company and this business like benefit from the videos you make and the social media posts and the awareness, and at the same time you're like, because I get to do that, I also get to like enjoy what I'm doing, which is like I get to, like, you know, look at these figures and just kind of get lost in it for a minute.
Yeah, well, I got about 3 more days to hit my resale goal.
Let's go, dude.
I'm about 60 away.
All right.
So I'm getting really close, maybe 50 away. Yeah, man, it's just I'm out here living, dude. Not just out here working anymore.
Rocky Mountain
living. Rocky Mountain living, baby. And yeah, dude, just life's good, man. I get to kick it with my best friend here on the show, and I think it's so interesting just hearing about all the different, all the different things you're learning about cards and reselling and sneakers and clothes and toys.
There's a lot to it, man.
Yeah.
And before we're out of here completely, I got invited to go play in adult league basketball on Monday.
That's right, dude. How was that?
So I caught up with my buddy Whip and Ryan Whipkey.
Whippets?
We used to play at Deering basketball camp back in like 5th grade. Mm-hmm. So I'd seen him a couple times like since then, like high school, and then all the Deering kids. But we were at a wedding. We were at Ian Stanhope's wedding. Corey was there, Sam Green. And he's like, bro, I play in this league. Like, give me your number. Like, we usually need subs, so I'll hit you up Monday. He's like, hey, in 2 hours we have a game. Can you come? I was like, of course, dude. I'm ready.
Let's do 2 hours.
So I get there. There's I think we have 7 players, and the other team has 5, and it's 40 minutes running clock. Luckily, because 40 minutes stoppage time, dude. I was totally gassed. I was not in playing shape. This is the first time I've really I've been to the gym, but really like tested my heart and like tested my body.
Yeah.
I played.
It's a different kind of fitness. Yeah.
I played like trash. I still had half our points, but I played terrible.
Of course.
I'm just like turning it over. I'm like air balls, but I'm still like shooting. It's like shoot or shoot. Like you don't stop just because you miss a couple.
Yeah.
So we lost by I think like 3 or 4, and this one dude was like, I was like beating up this one guy in the paint. He caught my elbow in the head, and then like I tried to steal the ball, and he moved his hand, and I hit him in the thumb, and I was like, dude, I'm beat up. I have bruises. I'm 37, and I was feeling it, dog. I was still getting up and down, but it's not easy anymore.
Tell me, how did you feel the next morning when you woke up?
Okay, felt okay. And then the day after, I was like, I'm a little sore, but I'm still okay. Today, I was sore.
Oh, no. It just progressively got worse.
Like my groin and my quads and like, my legs. I'm just like, I went to the gym for the first 30 minutes. All I did was stretch, dude.
Oh, man. So, just for the record, this is the second time your groin has been mentioned on the program.
2 times.
First time was with the Manscaped incident at the hospital, and this time it was a little bit too tight because you went hard in the paint, so to speak.
Yeah, just too many slides. It's like being in a defensive position for too long at this age. It's not good for you. So think about that when you have an athlete like LeBron or like Michael Jordan playing like incredible at that age and like 40, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm 37, I'm hurting, dude.
Yeah, dude, that reminds me, Hazard and I, before I'd moved away from Maine, we tried to join, I think it was a 30+ men's league in Westbrook.
Yeah,
and we went as far as to buy matching shoes,
Bro.
Shorts, wristbands, like all the like accessories to look like a street hooper, right? And they didn't have enough people for the league, so they shut it down. Me and him even held practices with a third person. We would meet up and we would hold the practices.
Wait, y'all had a 3-man practice?
A 3-man practice because it was a 3-man team. It was 3-on-3.
Why don't you just do a 3-on-3 league?
Well, no, we did, but there wasn't enough people for all the
3-on-3.
teams, bro.
You just need 6 or 9.
No,
I don't know.
No, for a league, not just for a game.
Just did 9 and then just round robin. You know, like there's 3 teams.
Well, that's the thing is I don't even think there was enough people for 3. God, everybody bailed, bro. And me and him, I still have the shoes to this day. I've worn them maybe once or twice on the court.
I need a picture of these, bro. I gotta see them.
Oh, dude, I got them in the closet. I'll show you. They're like NBA hyper dunks, like Nike, whatever, something or other. They're pretty dope, dude. But yeah, we were pretty bummed about it. This is before my back was bad, and I was ready, dude. I was ready to hoop.
Man,
Hazard was ready.
What could have been?
Yeah, what could have been, man?
Could have been champs back in '82. Could have thrown a pigskin a quarter mile.
Could have won state in the men's 30
no
plus
doubt in my
3-on-3 league.
That would have been the top trophy on your shelf.
Dog, tell me why there wasn't enough folks for 3-on-3.
Come on, Westbrook, get it together.
Come
or whatever
on,
town.
Man.
Sheesh.
Shoot.
Everybody's playing
dude.
these league sports now. I just can't commit the time-wise.
Right.
So it's cool that he's like, yeah, if you can come and drop in like as a sub, I'm like, that's perfect.
Yeah, that works out for you. Well, look, man, it's a late one. I appreciate your time. This has been awesome. This has been Hanging with Homie. For Dave, my name is JR. I'm going to do some digging. I'm going to find out why he has all these damn maps behind him. I don't know what's going on.
Soon come.
And most importantly, remember, it's cool to be you. And I appreciate you. We'll catch you next week.